Yeah,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and it's beautiful poetry. So this one for the words,
Yeah.
it's not for the pictures.
Okay,
Not
but
for the pictures. Yeah.
the pictures ain't bad.
Yeah. And then something like this, nonfiction.
Bomb?
This is about
The
the
Enola
making of the
Gay?
atomic
Okay.
bomb. And it's kind of a spy mystery about the facts. It's a
Yeah.
real page turner. There's a couple, there's like
Wow.
4 awards on this cover. And it's a
Yes.
pretty fantastic book, including the Newbery
Yeah.
Honor. So it won a Newbery Honor
Wow.
Award. So there's a whole range of ages, and it's for the words that can win the Newbery Award. So again, there's going to be a lot of books. I don't know how many books I'm going to be reading next year. And won't be able to chat much with you, Susan, because I'll be reading.
Yes. So, I'm going to play devil's advocate. We live in the 21st century, a time of computers, Kindles, iPhones, a time when newspapers are sort of taking a back seat to Facebook. Pardon me. Why should we urge children to pay such close attention to books as opposed to the internet?
Well, reading is fundamental, they say. It's important. It is a place of escape in that chaotic world. We live
And
in...
the internet is even more chaotic.
The internet is even more chaotic, that's right. It's a place that brings you solace. There are kids who still read under the sheets with a flashlight. It's an intimate place that you have with it, and it's contained right there, unlike the Kindle or the internet and just bopping around from one hypertext place to another place. You're in this one little place. Also, and I'm just thinking of it now, it's also a kind of bridge to the past. Looking at Charlotte's Web, your mother might have read Charlotte's Web. You're reading Charlotte's Web. Your grandchildren might read Charlotte's Web. Something that's old has a kind of a history to it. We connect together as a people and, as a community in those books.
Yeah. So, why do you like reading so much?
Yeah, it takes me to those places.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes me to those places. I'm moved by them. When I was in library school, I wasn't sure whether I was going to be part of adult services or children's services. And I read a book that really changed my life. Not that it was transcended in any profound philosophical way, no epiphanies, but it was called Ramona the Brave. And it was by Beverly Cleary.
Yes.
And I learned that anything that could be done in a grown-up book with 800 pages can be done with the 200 and so pages of Beverly Cleary's book. She had all the emotions. She had all the meaning, the heartfelt feeling that Ramona Quimby had in those few pages. And it was a kind of poetry. It was a kind of economy of language that you could get with those larger books, but they spent a lot of time doing it.
Yeah.
And I love that because there was a real immediacy, and probably more important is I get to share it with children. I get to connect with those children and tell them. Kids don't read, any kid, even good readers, only read so many books in a year. There's only so many books you can read when you're 9 years old or 8 years old. So you want to find the best possible book that you can find for that kid that will really change their life. The great readers will always be able to read lots and lots. But the frustrated reader or the reluctant reader doesn't want to read anyway. They don't want to read much. So the book that you give that, and it's not just me, it's the teachers and the parents, and probably most of all, the kids' friends telling them, you're going to love this book. And I get to be part of that. And it's kind of scary too. It's a grand responsibility that this book that I give this kid, if he doesn't like it or she doesn't like it, I've kind of failed. Or maybe they'll find another one, or maybe they'll be like me, and when they're in their 30s, they'll finally rediscover a children's book. But it's a time.
It could also be scary because you're changing a life. You're lighting a fire under a child, and I feel so It's so tedious. Books change a life. You start off in one direction and you just sort of leap over and that's what everybody says, but it's true.
It is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're there with the kid, and you got that little window, and you hope that little window, opens up for them and it doesn't slam shut, and they'll actually end up liking books.
Yeah. Yes. You've read Catherine Patterson, Jacob Have I Loved?
Yeah.
The I can't think of the name of. I'll think of it in a moment. She has written a book about writing. That is essentially it's a collection of speeches that she's given, and book reviews.